Alright, so this game, after character creation, starts a bit abruptly. We start in an underground passageway and we are trying to escape from DATS agents, who try to restore peace and keep it between the digital world and real world. We have found a Digimon and are running away with it before the DATS agents can capture it. The Digimon in question is an Agumon, an entirely separate Agumon from the one we're getting tutorials from, mind you. Our Agumon is called Upper, after the PS Vita game Uppers. Don't mind me, I'm just making sure the settings are in order and adjusting the view so that way it's as close to the player character as possible, because I think the game looks better up close. There we go. Now, this game's tutorial, incredibly lackluster. They don't explain a lot of the important mechanics you're going to need, but that's okay because you'll see them in action as I play the game. The tutorial teaches you the basics like how to move around, how to vaguely hatch a Digi-Egg, and such things, but a lot of the details are kind of left up to your imagination, which can be frustrating until you figure it out. I hope you have a scroll wheel, by the way, because if you do not, you cannot complete the tutorial, and as such you will not get any of the bonuses for completing the tutorial. So, you know, if you're going to play this game, get a mouse with a scroll wheel. It's that simple. So, an important function we're about to learn right now is that you can use the minimap to search for any NPC available in the area. Just click the magnifying glass, click NPC, and select from any NPCs listed. This is an immensely useful quality of life feature. You can find any NPC anywhere on the map at any point in time, and a glowing arrow will appear to show you where they are. Really, really good feature. Amazing feature even. I appreciate it so much. Because, oh my god, does it make the game way easier. Not every game has a feature like that, you know? Not every MMO has a feature like that, no matter how big the maps are. Alright, let's get out of here. Having someone get banned in the middle of a cutscene, not ideal, but this is an MMO. I can't really do do-overs. So this game is based on Digimon Data Squad or Digimon Savers. It doesn't follow the plot of the... Oh, also, we occasionally get quests from our Digivice, which is what the game is telling us right now. It doesn't happen very often. Usually you go to NPCs directly to get quests, but in this tutorial opening area, we'll get quests from our Digivice a lot. Looks real nice here, actually. I know the graphics are a bit outdated, but I still think it looks quite pretty. Nice to see other people running around in the tutorial area. There was just a sale on stuff recently, so maybe there are a lot of new players. Anyway, it's time for the battle tutorial. If you've played an MMO before, you know how battles work. We can also search for any mobs or monsters, as the case may be, available on the map, and an arrow will point us to those as well. Equally useful to the NPC search function. Very much appreciated. After we reach our location, we double-click on an enemy to attack them, or rather to have our Agumon attack them. And their health gets depleted and they fall over. Simple as. That's how all the combat in the game works. But it is an MMO, so, you know, I'm not sure what you expected. Now we're going to learn what we can do with some of the items we obtain from Digimon we have defeated. After defeating a Digimon, we have a chance to pick up eggs. Some eggs contain data, some eggs contain the potential to hatch an actual Digimon. For the purposes of the tutorial, the egg we are getting is just an egg with nothing in it. But we do get a broken shell for scanning it, and we can return any broken shells for money, such as this. That's the primary source of income in the game, is returning eggs that we don't want. Now it's time to learn how to hatch a Digi-Egg. Hatching Digi-Eggs is incredibly complicated, but the basic idea is that any given monster has a chance to drop a Digi-Egg that you can hatch that monster from, but you also need data of the corresponding type, which can also be dropped from that Digimon or Digimon of its type. This is the tutorial egg, so we get to hatch it for free. Everybody gets the same tutorial monster. I won't put too much effort into the name because we're not going to be using this tutorial monster. We're going to be getting better ones very soon. But each time you hatch a Digi-Egg, even the tutorial Digi-Egg, a really cool cutscene plays. I'm not sure for what purpose the game has to lie and say that Digimon is rare when everyone who completes the tutorial gets one, but whatever. We're going to get better Digimon in a second. The tutorial is actually nearly over. We're not nearly done with the tutorial section of the game, but the tutorial itself is nearly over, and we will get our rewards for completing it upon talking to her right here. Again, vaguely related to the plot of Data Squad / Digimon Savers. This is actually a great setting for a Digimon MMO because a police force tasked with keeping peace between the real and digital worlds is a great way to set up quests for the player, because that means any quest you get, no matter how small, lies well within the realm of the universe. Anyway, I'll see you guys in a sec. I got something I gotta get real quick. Alright, cool. So I got a fancy new outfit now, and we're going to complete the tutorial and head on our first real missions to prove ourselves, to prove that we're worthy to be a DATS agent. This outfit gives us a significant boost in our speed and experience, our walking speed, I mean, which you should not underestimate. Walking faster is very good. I did have to pay money, real money, for this suit, but it is possible to get this suit through other methods. And before anyone complains about microtransactions, I played this game for 25 hours before spending a single cent on it. So, I think I got my worth out of it. Most of the really early quests revolve around us meeting people and introducing ourselves as the new probationary DATS agent, trying to prove ourselves so we can get an official DATS badge and be recognized as a DATS member who can enter the digital world. First, we've got to solve some problems in the real world, and, you know, spammers getting banned every 3 seconds while I'm trying to talk. But introducing ourselves to everyone and helping them out is the first step. We're going to see a character that's pretty important in a second over there, Dr. Akihiro. He's not a very nice man. His first impression isn't so bad, but not a very nice man. Homer right here is a very nice man, though, telling us exactly what we need to hear and how to use it. Very good guy he is. Now, on to Dr. Akihiro. Dr. Akihiro will give us our first real quest, which is to get some data from these Koromon. And we do that by beating the tar out of them, of course, as one would expect. He says he knows all there is to know about Digimon, and no one knows more about Digimon than he does. I mean, he's working for the DATS Research Center, and he is a researcher, so, you know, maybe he's right. Maybe he knows more about Digimon than anyone else. Kinda weird to be standing right outside someone's house in a lab coat like that, but, you know, whatever. So, there seems to be some people that farm these Koromon, but they're generally polite about it, and don't hog all of the Koromon, seem to let you have a little slice of your own. This is not the case with some areas later in the game, especially whenever we eventually encounter Guillemon, because Guillemon is in very high demand. We just used one of our skills, Pepper Breath, or, you know, as it's called here, Baby Flame, which is a projectile attack, draws aggro immediately upon use. It's useful if you want to make an enemy come toward you and meet them halfway, instead of running all the way to the enemy, which is important in some circumstances. After we complete Dr. Akihiro's mission, we will be flooded with new quests in our Digivice to help us prove that we are an official DATS agent, that we are worth admitting into the DATS facility. Call from Richard Sampson, the leader of DATS, the guy with the sunglasses we saw earlier. So, as soon as we press complete here, a lot of quests will flood our Digivice that we can mostly complete in any order, but there's an order that there's a D just hanging out over there. But there's an order they want us to complete them in, of course. Gotta stop bank robberies, gotta help people out at the school. We're just gonna go ahead and accept all these quests at once. That's what we do, we help people, that's our job now. I would ask if we get paid for it, but obviously we do. We get paid in the amount of stuff we pick up from Digimon. Now, before we go questing, I want to show you that because we are playing as Marcus, we can in fact punch Digimon ourselves. I know this is important to a lot of people, but yes, we can run up to a Digimon and punch it ourselves, like this. There you go. I feel like that's important to point out. That's a skill unique to Marcus. Alright, so we're going to grind on these Koromon for a bit until our Digimon is level 10, and then we'll get to those quests about the bank robberies and school children and such. We even got our second attack skill, but I'll go over that later. For now, we're going to grind. Alright, so onto the actual helping people part. In order to become an official DATS agent, as Richard Sampson is saying, we need the proof that we've been helping people, so we need to get 5 DATS badges to show him. And we'll get one from stopping the bank robber, who is using Dromojimon to commit a series of bank robberies. Dromojimon being weird seal things, narwhal things with drills on their faces, which we will see when we come down here. We have to defeat a certain number of regular Dromojimon and Dromojimon leaders, the Dromojimon leaders being larger, and they will attack us if they notice us, unlike the regular Dromojimon, which will not attack us. We have to attack them first. So, our second attack skill is Spitfire. Deals a lot more damage, a much more useful skill. Hits multiple times, but we have to run all the way up to the enemy to use it instead of them coming to us. So it really depends on what situation you're in, whether you want to use that one or the Baby Flame. It's worth noting that you aren't meant to spend too much time in the town of Yokohama. Oh, a Dromojimon egg. Anyway, it's worth noting that you aren't meant to spend too much time in the town of Yokohama. You're just supposed to complete the quests here to prove you're a DATS member and are worthy of being allowed into the DATS Center. And then you're supposed to go to the DATS Center. But we're going to be spending quite a lot of time here, enough to level up our Digimon and even hatch a few new ones, because there's a lot of stuff here to do, even if it's not necessarily quest related. But we're going to focus on the quest first, of course. Now that we've reached level 11, our Agumon has evolved into Geogreymon, although his name is the same. Geogreymon is much more powerful, deals much more damage with his attacks and attack skills. Right now he only has the one attack skill, Mega Flame. We have completed our quest to stop the bank robber, but we're still going to beat up a few more Dromojimon leaders using our newly acquired Geogreymon, because he looks cool. Look at how long his tail is. It's a long tail. Should really be more attack skills that use that huge tail of his. So, in order to digivolve a Digimon and keep that Digimon in its form, we need Digisoul, which is the blue bar under the Tamer's health. The Digisoul depletes the longer the Digimon is in its digivolved form, and when our Digisoul runs out, the Digimon will transform back to its rookie self. This is obviously in reference to the anime, where you transform using some kind of willpower, and transform back to normal, as just happened now. A lot of people have complained about this mechanic, and it's a little difficult to understand why. I think the tamer would be kind of completely unnecessary if the tamer wasn't the reason the Digimon digivolved. It's sort of part of the deal of being an anime tie-in. I think that only being able to maintain your digivolved forms for a certain period of time is a perfectly reasonable limitation, obviously done for game balancing purposes, and so you will use your various digivolved forms and not just one of them all the time. Let's see what's bothering this school child. Something killed all his rabbits. That is a good reason to be upset at any age. And some sort of worm kind of looking Digimon did it. Well, there are a lot of worm-looking kind of Digimon just sort of floating around here. So I think it's a fair bet that they did it. Well, I would have loved to accept the reward for that bank robber quest, but it appears our inventory is full. Thankfully, we did get a few inventory expansions upon starting a new player, so let's expand our inventory, shall we? Right, now I believe we have some Kunemon and Flymon to beat up. You may notice there are just Renamon kind of wandering around. Yeah, you punched that bug, Marcus. You may notice there are some Renamon just wandering around. There are Renamon in a lot of areas in this game, because they knew that Renamon was in high demand, I assume. So you can get Renamon in so many places, at so many different levels. I was not particularly interested in getting a Renamon. I was more interested in getting a weird Digimon, and we will get some weird Digimon. But we're going to be doing the tutorial stuff with our Agumon upper. And then we'll get the weird Digimon, via hatching. I'm not going to show you the cutscenes for hatching the Digimon we're going to be using, though, because that would spoil their Digivolutions, and I want you to see those when they happen, and not before they happen. Okay, we avenged your rabbits, I guess. That one wasn't worth a DATS badge, though, which is understandable. Man, this town is just an utter mess. There are Digimon wreaking havoc all over the place. Digimon causing traffic jams, Digimon being used for bank robberies. The relation between the real world and digital world is brought up a lot in Data Squad and Digimon Savers, so again, this is probably a really good setting for that. Although the Digimon certainly aren't quite flooding the streets like this in Digimon Data Squad, that's for sure. Here's Spawn Chessmon B, the guy that scans our items and allows us to return them, and scan our Digi-Eggs, and allow us to return our Digi-Eggs. This is one of the Digimon that we'll be getting, Dracomon Blue. He's one of the Digimon we'll be using long-term on our adventures. This guy right here. And we've got another mystery Digi-Egg that we should scan eventually. Right, so now that we're done fussing around with our items, I do believe there were Elecmon causing a traffic jam, and we should probably go deal with that ASAP. Now, each Digimon has a type. There's a lot of Beast-type Digimon. Elecmon is a Beast-type, Garurumon is a Beast-type, Dromojamon is a Beast-type. You're not going to be hurting for Beast-type data in this area in the game. Everybody drops Beast-type data. I believe Renamon also drops Beast-type data. So, this seems like a good time to explain that there are two distinct levels. There is a Tamer level, and there is a Digimon level. The Digimon level determines how much HP and Digisoul the Digimon has. The Tamer level determines attack power, as well as how much Digisoul the Tamer has. And how much Digisoul the Tamer has, of course, determines how long you can stay in Digivolved forms. It's not as complicated as it might appear at first glance. And this is how the combat generally goes. You beat up a Digimon, it drops items, your Tamer picks up the items while your Digimon goes to beat something else up. Most of the quests, as should be expected from an MMO, do revolve around hitting things and grabbing items. That's not all you do, though, as there are some missions with unique objectives and items to use, depending on the story, whether the story demands it. You may have noticed that we can hide the HUD at any time, which makes the game a lot easier to look at. Of course, hiding the HUD means you can't see your Digimon's health bar or the enemy's health bar, but it does mean the game is nicer to look at for you, the viewer, watching this game. which is cool. It's a cool feature, even though I highly doubt they had this in mind whenever they added the HUD removal feature. For some reason, to stop the traffic jam, we also have to destroy a few Garurumon. A little bit odd if you ask me, but it's part of the mission, so we're going to do what we're told. Doing what we're told, regardless of whether it seems right or makes sense, is a big part of Digimon Masters. We're going to be doing that a lot. It may not be super clear, by the way, but I do really love this game, primarily because of the Digimon license associated with it. It's good that we're getting so many quests from our Digivice, because that makes things a lot simpler. Later in the game, we're going to just have to run to the NPCs and see what they want. Although we're about to do that right now. Not here, of course. This man doesn't have an icon above his head. But, we'll see him later. Right now, we need to search for someone with an icon above their head. Now, when you pull up the full map, you can see anybody that may have a quest for you. That's very, very important. It's another really good quality of life feature. Gonna go over here real quick, and then we'll go do our next quest. So, we can see Homer again, and this time he wants our help with something very important. They're a Demi-Meramon and a Meramon, you know, catching things on fire. And catching things on fucking fire is a big deal, so we need to go deal with that ASAP. Our active quests are displayed to the right, and by clicking on one of the active quest objectives like this, a marker will appear and an arrow will appear to show us where our objective is located. Again, very good quality of life feature. Here are the Demi-Meramon and the Meramon that we need to take care of. Quite a lot of them. It's no surprise that the area is in danger of being caught on fire. Sometimes slight elevations confuse your Digimon into thinking that they can't attack the enemy. They can attack the enemy, of course, they're just confused. They will get unconfused in a second. So the thing about Digimon Masters is that there are a lot of kind and helpful Digimon and people that need you. Like, they need you to solve their issues and they need you to make their lives better. And I like that. I like the idea of that. Unfortunately, there's also a very bad man that's frequently going to ask for your help, and you have to do what he says because he is your boss. So that kind of sucks. Anyway, each Digimon has a type, and there's a sort of rock, paper, scissors thing going on. Some types are better against other types. I wouldn't pay too much mind to it. After we're done beating up these poor Demi-Meramon, we can go beat up Meramon itself. And yeah, you know, if you want a Meramon, you can grind here for one. Eventually they will drop a Meramon Digi-Egg, and then you'll have to grind to get data so you can hatch the Meramon Digi-Egg. But it is possible to get a Meramon here, which is pretty cool, if you have the time to grind for one. So, let's go fight regular Meramon now that we're done with the Demi-Meramon. And, my brother and sister were playing at the same time I was recording this, so we might run into them if they happen to be around this area at the time. I did indeed sucker both my brother and sister into playing this with me, and they seem to be enjoying it. They've hatched a lot of Digimon without having to spend a single cent. They have spent money on the game, but, you know, that was after they were sure that they have enjoyed it. Like I said, I played the game for 25 hours before I spent any money on it. So we're going to grind against these Meramon for a bit, even after we've completed and turned in the quest. Because it's a good place to grind for now. We gain experience a lot faster because of the outfit we're wearing. Don't ask me how that works, but it is helpful for the purposes of recording this game, because otherwise the experience you gain is much slower. I do believe my brother... There he is. Right there with Diablomon. That freaky thing. That villain from the first film. Yep, that's him. And this Digimon he's using right now, the freaky villain from the first film, was hatched without spending any money on microtransactions. So, you know, you can totally do that. You can get a cool Digimon without spending any money. It just requires a lot of grinding and elbow grease. Now, let's see what his Digimon looks like in action on the screen, because Diablomon's attacks are pretty cool. After it's done waddling over to an enemy. Gotta make sure I have the screen turned properly to see the attack in the best light possible. Turn off the HUD Some of the Digimon's attacks look really cool. Here we go. Yeah, that's pretty good. I love the way that looks. Anyway, we're gonna go grind against these Meramon now, and I'll see you after we're done with that. Hey Homer, good news. Not only did we put out the fire, but we put out even more fires. Way more than you asked for. What's the next mission? I think I remember now. We gotta go see that guy I was looking at earlier. Guy that looks kind of like a pop star, because he is. Very popular pop star and model. Over here, G Neon is his name. Something suspicious about how quickly he got popular. Got popular super fast. I mean, he is pretty looking. There's that. But he seems to be acting a little odd. Oh, we got a notification in our Digivice. Probably check that out. Let's see. Something suspicious happening around G Neon. His popularity may have something to do with a network of Digimon. I wonder if it's these Karamon sitting around. Seems like a safe bet that all these Karamon floating around him may have something to do with the fact that he's suddenly gained immense popularity on the internets. Regular people using Digimon for their gain is something that happens a lot. This lamppost is giving us trouble. So we're going to have to teach this guy that you can't get popular by abusing the power of freaky-looking villain Digimon. You have to get popular the fair way. You know, by being born with rich parents or having a prettier face. A lot of factors outside of your control, but abusing Digimon is not one of the fair ways. Because that's a factor inside your control, and we can't have that. In all seriousness, using virus-type Digimon to make yourself internet popular, which then translates into real-world popularity, very dangerous. Might not want to use virus-type Digimon to do anything. Could end very badly, especially when your virus-type Digimon is the villain of the first Digimon movie. Kind of bad. Our inventory is absolutely stuffed full of crap. We're going to have to go to Ponchesmon Black and clear it up. And now we're back to finish beating on those Karamon and their evolved form Chrysalimon. This is also a really great area to grind for experience. Probably the best area in this section of Yokohama. After we complete this quest, we will get the final DATS badge we need to prove our worth, and then we will be allowed into the DATS Center. Of course, we're not going to go to the DATS Center in this video, we will save that for next time. But we've effectively completed the tutorial area of the game, and we will be able to enter the digital world in the next video. We're going to grind here a little bit, though, just because this is a really good place to grind. And get money. Not that you're ever going to be hurting for money, but, you know. Now that we've grinded our Agumon to a level I find to be sufficient, it's time to get that last DATS badge for stopping this man's illegal usage of virus Digimon. He's not going to go to jail or anything, though. He's just going to be like, hey, I learned my lesson and I won't do that anymore. Anyway, now that we've done this, we are officially recognized as a DATS member. No longer probationary, we are just a regular DATS member, and we can head to the DATS Center, which we will do next time. And next time you'll also see the special Digimon that we will be using for the rest of the game. One of them being Dracomon, as you saw, but you don't know what Dracomon looks like yet, unless you're a huge fan of the series, then you probably do. But you'll see the Digimon that we'll be using as our partners in the next video. And they look pretty cool. Pretty happy with them. They were mystery eggs too, so they could have turned out to be anything. It's just like you can't really go wrong with Digimon, I guess. I like almost all of their designs. Next time we'll head to the digital world.